beer, rum, and rock and roll. Saving rock, one conversation at a time. With Randy Legault and Beau Shiminsky.
Rum is in hand, Brother Randy. It is time for beer, rum, and rock and roll.
Indeed it is.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get dirty on this one.
Yeah, looking forward to getting all muddy.
But before we do that, it's rock news time.
Yes. What's
Okay.
going on, Anchorman?
Let's get to it. Def Leppard got their wish granted. Brian May is doing the induction into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
This is what they wanted, and he said, sure, I'd be more than happy to do that, so that's cool.
Yeah,
He's a classy guy.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made sense when I heard it, too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
They performed at Freddie's send-off there, back in 92 or 91, whenever that was.
Yeah.
Black Keys. Are you a Black Keys guy? I like him.
I think we discussed this on a podcast at one point. The two guy thing, just not enough there for me. So I really,
Right.
it was all over the place.
Yeah.
the massive hits. Yeah, just didn't feel it.
And now they add a couple guys now, which I don't like. I mean, I'd stick to two. That's me.
If that's your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, they're filling out the sound with a couple guys, so maybe you might be more interested.
Maybe. Yeah, I never really evaluated it that hard. Just kind of said, I don't get it.
I don't know. It sounds good to me. I don't care if it's one guy or 80. It sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, they got a new tour. Let's Rock Tour. Vancouver's the closest date for us in Calgary, November 24th.
Right.
So they got a new album coming out. It's not out yet, but that's that.
Yeah.
Dick Dale, who I guarantee you know who the fuck that is, died at 81, the king of surf guitar.
Yeah.
And this guy influenced Stevie Ray, Hendrix, you name it. I mean, the guy's style was unique and just crazy.
And there's the start of a style. They wasn't the first, but definitely a unique thing that just spoke, right?
And he did it the best. Because I can't think of another person like that. Can you?
No.
No. He had his thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you something. I read this and made note of it. His percussive approach to plucking the strings meant he often wore picks down to the stub in the course of one song.
What kind of picks was he using?
Exactly. Might be a slight exaggeration.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
man, it's fast.
Cardboard.
And we all know that song from Pulp Fiction. That's where I really, Mr. Lou, I think it's called. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's just crazy, man.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
And perfect film music.
Oh, man. Well, Tarantino always picks, his soundtracks are awesome.
No, but even this, in any film, it would stand out like
Yes, for sure.
something.
Yeah.
Something's cool is going on generally when that kind of music's going
Totally.
on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dick's gone. It's kind of sad. Okay, that's it for news, man. Now it's Motley Crue for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we celebrate this show as them because we just watched the Dirt came out yesterday.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that. So,
Yeah. First.
But first.
Let's talk about, so they had those 4 new songs on the soundtrack.
Right.
We talked about the one,
right.
The Dirt,
Right.
and they released the other 3.
Yeah.
So there's Crash and Burn and Ride with the Devil. My personal 2 cents on those is they're boring.
Yeah.
They both sound kind of the same, and it's just, they're not terrible. Production's good, but I'm just not getting any reaction out of that at all.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Exact
There's
same
not much more to
feeling.
say.
I have nothing to say. There's just nothing to talk about.
Really, there isn't.
Nothing to write home about.
But Like a Virgin for me,
Oh.
I got a kick out of it because I got a kick out of Vince Neil saying Like a Virgin. This made me laugh. And it's
Yeah.
just a novelty song.
Yeah.
Out of those 3, I liked it the best, but that's not saying much.
And it's not like they haven't done novelty songs before. Smoking in the Boys'
Sure,
Room.
Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That it made sense for
Yeah.
them to try it.
sure.
It made sense for them to juxtapose that whole situation.
Yes. Well, I'm sure there's a sense of humor behind that, of course.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love what I not love. I enjoyed the chorus when they
Yes.
broke it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it goes with the film. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? But
Why not?
The other stuff, no thanks.
I'm just surprised. Like I know Nikki ran it by those guys, and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. This could be kind of cool."
Oh.
Now, let's talk about what Motley Crue means to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I'll start because
Okay,
I think that my appreciation for Motley Crue started, as with most, first record.
You were in right off the hop.
In the skateboard world,
Right.
and punk, not punk scene yet, because I wasn't there yet, but in skateboarding and blah, blah, blah. I remember being on a ramp, and I heard Livewire.
Yep.
And
yeah.
it worked.
It worked.
It worked when it's resonating from a stereo somebody put on the back deck, cranking outside, loud. It really worked for me.
Got your attention.
Yeah. That record had a bunch of good tunes.
Yep. It really did.
So when Shout at the Devil happened, I was all in. Again, it just, knowing what I know now about what glam rock was, this was not that yet. This was just good, aggressive, angry, somewhat, worked for me.
Oh, it was angry young man stuff for
And
sure.
yeah, I just kind of jumped in. And, but that was it. It was just those two records for me.
Right.
Then I got into the punk scene, and
You were off that road. Yeah, right.
Like if you look behind me,
Yes. If you haven't already noticed, for those of you watching on YouTube,
yeah. If you don't see what's behind me right now, there's a photo of me that's
in front of a Christmas tree, I see.
in front of a Christmas tree, and I was 14, and I have a nice Motley Crue t-shirt
It's a
on.
fucking badass t-shirt, I might add. Yeah.
And yeah, I was committed big time at a very impressionable age. I just went faster and more aggressive.
Yes.
That was a stepping stone, sort of,
Right.
I guess, considering I really liked it.
I see you're rocking the red, white, and blue wristband combo with the headband.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of got the Tommy Lee vibe where it doesn't matter
right.
if I feel it and I throw it on.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna do it, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an awesome shot. Yeah.
So my Motley Crue experience is pretty short-lived,
Right. You're off in
but
punk
I
land.
really did enjoy those two first records, and I still
Yeah.
do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for me, I've said this on the podcast before, I think. I saw Too Fast for Love, that album, in the store and bought it without hearing a note. I just thought the cover was cool.
Really?
Yep. This has to be good. Look at this cover. I'm 15, keep in mind, right?
Yeah.
So I buy this, take it home, drop the needle, and Livewire. I'm like, holy shit, this doesn't sound like Kiss. This doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah.
It's rock, but a little glam, a little punk. I mean, it sounded awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Free, a little bit better than it used to be, 'cause I'm alive.
The drums at the end.
Oh, man. That cowbell and shit?
There's a song that I have to I almost tend to crank the end of the song even more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I just love hearing it and how he's just in a cowbell.
It's
in
so
a
cool.
way cool way.
I know.
They were definitely trendsetter.
Yes.
Style
Going
music.
against the grain for sure. On
Yeah.
the strip, none of that wasn't going on.
No.
That was like passe.
No.
You think so? Let's watch this.
Yeah.
So they became, from that point on, like, and there's a couple bands in my life like this, but they're the band I've seen the most times live. Not intentionally, it just happens like over a dozen times at least.
Wow.
They're like a thread through my life, like right from 15, right to, when did they quit? 2015. Like they were always kind of there.
Yeah.
To me, they're what a rock band should be. They are. They sound cool. They look cool. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Just like GNR.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I think a rock band should be.
Mm-hmm.
A little self-destructive, of course, but we'll get to that later. Yes. Then Shout at the Devil. Now, this was a fucking game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So Too Fast comes out. They have no money. You can tell it's an indie band. I think they ended up putting it on their own label, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Leather Records or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this comes out,
Yeah.
and you think, well, that's pretty badass. Pentagram. Yeah. Well, the fucking capper is you open it, and that. Now, a 15-year-old, or I would have been 16 or 17 then.
Yeah.
That's a fucking mind blower.
Yeah.
When Kiss is in the toilet, like Kiss is basically non-existent. This is taking the place of that and some. And then some.
And
I mean,
very shortly afterwards, like Kiss just stopped really.
well, they didn't stop.
No, it stopped being Kiss.
Oh, stop being cool. That's
Right?
fucking sure.
This was not much after.
Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Road Warrior.
Easy
meets
transition. Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I stared at this for fucking hours on end.
Yeah.
What an album. Just raw and just violent. Like, you read the lyrics to some of these songs.
Yeah.
This is not a skipping through the fucking roses fucking scenario, man.
No.
These guys mean business, man. Yeah. Looks at Kill. Man, remember seeing that video for the first time? I bet you I watched that video 1,000 times. Recorded it and just fucking over and over.
Yeah, their
Like-
characters in their band there just really came to life in that video.
Totally. Like, it was just
Yeah.
mind-blowing
Yeah.
at that age, right?
She keeps the motor clean. Who can believe me? She's a number 14.
So here's the picture disc of the album that Vince ended up signing. Yay. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
What teenager isn't eating that up?
I know.
The
This
car,
rebels against everything.
Duran and the Cars aren't cutting it when this is happening.
No,
For me,
and then
anyway.
at that time, you're also really hearing more about the bands and what they're getting into and what they're up to, which was
Oh, yes, to no good.
which was even a bigger draw.
Well,
It really just doubled down.
and you touch on that. Here's what, let's compare him to Kiss again, because we have to mention Kiss in all the podcasts. Kiss was Kiss on stage and Businessmen off stage.
Yeah.
Well, two of them partied, but this
Right.
is a different, it's like acting.
Totally.
This is not that.
Yeah.
What you see on stage is backstage everywhere. Like, it's on the street. They're the same fucking guys.
Yeah.
Different deal
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
Just awesome.
Just
awesome.
I mean, that's all it is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of people gave him flack, just like everybody gave Kiss flack. You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's big sections of, oh, you're the worst. That's terrible music, or you're satanic. They got that whole satanic thing on that record.
Oh, it showed.
Again.
At
the devil, I get
Not
it.
with the devil.
I know. I know. And the pentagram. It's they knew what they were doing. I mean, it was
I saw an interview. I remember seeing an interview on the New Music. It was Vince Neil and Nikki Sixx, and they're asking him that. And he says that. And I quote, "It's not shout with the devil, it's shout at the devil." And Vince Neil goes, "Also, in some circles, that pentagram is used to ward off werewolves." Oh, man. Okay, that's enough on Shout at the Devil. And here, so Theater of Pain comes out next. And here's another thing I like about them. Every album, new logo, new look. They changed dramatically. Every album. And Kiss didn't really even do that. They changed their outfits a bit and stuff. But this is dramatic. Now we're going full glam. Pink and fucking skin tight unitards. And fucking,
and that's where I was.
I liked it.
I went
Yeah.
away.
That's the first concert I saw, though.
Oh,
and
I
it was a mind blower, right? I mean, this is when they're the most fucked up, too. I mean, they're just out of their minds.
Right.
But the album, on the other hand, shitty production. Okay, you like the first two wall to wall pretty much, as do I.
Yeah.
Well, here becomes the next few albums. I don't know quite any other band that's quite like this. There's only 2 or 3 songs on each album following that are any good. You got, what do you got on this album? You got Home Sweet Home, massive fucking hit. First one of the first power ballads. You got Smokin', we're done.
Right.
Really. Louder Than Hell, maybe. That's it.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Home sweet home. Tonight, I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Home sweet home.
Girls, 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 next.
Right.
Biker Look.
Right.
Right? What do we got on that album? Wild Side.
Right. That was a big song.
Oh, these songs that I'm naming are huge.
Yeah.
But there's a substantial fucking
Right.
dip.
Right.
You got All in the Name of, and you got, what's the other one? Fucking title track.
Right.
Girls, Girls, Girls. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
Sharp drop off again. Right? But the songs are so good.
And suited to the band. Like every time
Right.
a song came on, it really was a Motley Crue song.
So were you going to see them live? I saw every tour, of course. You didn't even go. Because, man, that show, that girls' tour, oh, my God. That's when Tommy Lee started spinning around on the kit and all that stuff. And, man, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun.
Sure.
Now we're up to 89, Dr. Feelgood, their biggest album, right? Again, few more good tracks, but not even half the album. So you got title track, Feelgood. You got Kickstart, right?
Yeah.
You got Don't Go Away Mad. You got SOS. That's it.
And Don't Go Away Mad. I mean,
I like it.
yeah, it's kind of a fuck you.
But then you got Slice of Your Pie and fucking She Goes Down. I mean, these songs are just lame. I mean, they're...
yeah. Okay.
Don't mince words. What are you trying to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one thing about Dr. Feelgood. I don't know if you knew. So,
I really love that song.
oh, yeah, this is what I'm saying. The songs that are good are outstanding, but the dip is major. Bob Rock produces this one, of course. Lars hears the album while they were making the Black Album. Here's what the drum sound sounds like. I must have this. Fucking blew him away. That's why they got Bob in.
Because
They heard that album and thought, this is fucking production is insane. The drum sound is fucking unreal. And it is.
and it's forward because it's the hook,
Yeah.
one of the hookiest parts of that tune.
Right. Exactly.
So it's forward. So
Yep.
yeah, I think Lars likes anything forward
Forward
because he
thinking.
likes to stand up between songs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? If the
Just
drums,
sit down,
if
Lars.
the drums are the best sounding thing on the record, that's good for me. That's what I think.
Oh, that annoys
I'm not surprised by the comment, is what I'm saying.
That annoys you, doesn't it, when he stands up?
Oh,
He wants to be a front man so bad.
so badly. And if you don't know that,
At least back in the day, they weren't in the round. So if he stood up, no big deal. Now he
Right.
stands up, he's in the middle, he's walking around.
oh, he walks in front of James. Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, sidebar.
Yeah, sidebar.
So now I'm condensing this way the fuck down. Now the band takes a break. They've been album tour, and these guys are fucking burnt, right? Burned out.
Yeah.
Take a break. Reality shows, solo albums, all that shit, right? Come back in '94. Well, sans Vince, right? This album is really good, by the way. I know you're.
I've heard that. I just haven't delved into it.
They should have changed the name of the band because people, fans, just myself included, Motley Crue is Vince Neil singing. Period.
Yeah.
John Corabi's
It's
voice.
his voice. The sound of Vince's voice is
Totally.
Motley Crue.
And you can love it or hate it, but it's distinct.
And it cuts through.
It cuts through, right?
Oh yeah.
John Corabi comes in, his voice is unreal. Changes the sound of the band in a good way. The album is great, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this is '94. That's a tough time
Yeah.
with grunge and all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
But if it ages well for me. But it's just not really Motley Crue. They should have called it something else.
Did Mick do anything different musically on that record than
Like his guitar sound,
did he
you mean?
change with the introduction of a new singer?
I would say they did. I'm not saying they went grunge, but they definitely shifted a little bit. Still Motley, but a little bit of a shift in that direction, right?
Right.
A little heavier.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to use the word, but a little grungier guitar tone.
Yeah.
Like Hooligan's Holiday, that's a great song. And Smoke the Sky, have you heard that song?
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
Oh, dude. So Vince returns, 97, Generation Swine. Oh man, this album, I can't do it. I've tried. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
They changed a lot. When I saw Vince Neil with red hair, they all got haircuts for starters.
Right.
Like
Tommy started that trend.
they were just trying to, it's 97 at this point. They're trying to stay in the game somehow.
Right.
Def Leppard, same thing. They all had a hard time. They just got to wait for it to cycle back, and fuck, it did big time, right?
Yeah, when people got a little older, have money, and they're like, "Oh, great, I'm going to go and see this band that I haven't seen." You know,
Right.
Yeah.
So 2000 new tattoo, Tommy's replaced. Oh, they're replacing Tommy now, but the sound is back to traditional. But Randy Castillo,
Right.
wicked drummer,
I heard that. Yeah.
he drums on it.
Yeah.
But for the tour, the drummer for Hole, they had a chick on drums for the tour, it's Motley Crue. So that's kind of cool. Because you think a chick would be like, I don't want to be in this misogynistic fucking gong show.
Right.
And I remember seeing an interview with her, and she's like, you know what? These guys are great. They love women.
Right. Yeah, they don't want to.
But not in a bad way.
Yeah.
They love them all.
Yeah. No girl is safe.
We'll be talking about that later, too.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, she had nothing bad to say. I remember seeing her in an interview. She was happier than hell to be drumming for Motley Crue.
No idea that
did-
would have ever happened.
Yeah.
And cool.
Mhm.
I'd have to go. I got to go. We got to put a link up or something. Is there
we will.
is there some video of her playing with
You
them?
bet there is.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Now we got the big gap. So that was 2000. They don't come out with anything new till 2008. Original band Saints of Los Angeles, which we're coming around, is based. The songs on that album are based on the book The Dirt. So it's built in, right? And it's a good album. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, I've heard you say that it was. You liked.
I mean, it doesn't sound like Shout at the Devil,
Right.
but it sounds modern yet motley. It's good, man. The title track is really good. I'm not saying I'll like every song on it, but there's some standouts, man. Motherfucker of the Year, that's a good song too. Hey,
The title alone grabs my attention.
exactly.
We are the saints. We signed our life away. Doesn't matter what you think. We're gonna do it anyway. We are the saints. One day you will confess and pray to the saints of Los Angeles.
So yeah, 9 albums in 35 fucking years. That's not a massive output, but that just goes
No,
to
but
show.
you know that they were into other things
That
that
and-
occupied a lot of their time.
And that just goes to show too, the impact they had was fucking massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're always there, even if they're not putting out product, right?
Right.
They just had an impact, man, and it was huge.
Again, you're coming from us on a much more passionate level than I am, but
Oh fuck, I know this band well.
right. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm just kind of.
Yeah.
I'm absorbing
Okay.
it all. I'm absorbing it all.
So I'll jump ahead. That final tour ended in 2015. So by this time, Tommy Lee's got a roller coaster, and the fucking show is like, I think it eclipses the best Kiss show. What was interesting about it too is Kiss's new show is a lot of video. Like it's video.
Oh, is that right?
Video panels everywhere. Like the little. Remember, I said they had the
Yeah.
little octagons.
Yeah.
There's 14 of them, and they're all video and a massive video screen in the background.
Yeah.
Motley's final tour, no video. It was all effects and really cool
Yeah.
stuff.
I
I
no big
just thought it was
screens
awesome.
of the close-ups of their lips
No.
singing songs.
And
yeah.
some people with shitty seats don't like that, and I
Yeah.
get it because
Yeah.
you want to see close-ups of stuff. But
Right.
and also, yeah, they use tracks, but not on that lead vocal because Vince Neil, man, he was just barely hanging in there on that tour.
Oh yeah.
But he did it, warts and all. And I don't care. I get it. You know, he doesn't have it anymore, but they left. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
2015, done. So
Yeah.
hopefully they stick to that.
Yeah.
I hope they stop.
Yeah,
Or I
I
hope they
think-
continue stop.
I get what they've done here
Yeah,
for the film and
of course.
great.
They're pushing
Have
it.
some fun, you know.
Exactly.
Is this going to be my life again? No.
And it creates buzz for the movie, and it's all,
Sure.
it makes perfect sense.
And there was a lot of buzz. Like the film got a lot of buzz.
Okay, let's get to the film. Yes. Man, they did a great job on social media, everywhere. They just spoon-fed this. Like, whoever handled that did a really good job, I thought. Old photos Nicky's putting out. Like, they did just spoon-feeding you a little bit, getting you all amped up
But I
about
think
Motley Crue again.
they were doing that honestly, I think.
I
the way
agree.
I took it, I was like, he's excited. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go do this. I don't know if it was a choreographed affair. I think it was really, it came from them.
Well, I think it's both. Because there was new artwork. I mean, things are going on.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is a campaign.
Yeah. But I like the stuff that he would put out. You
Of
know,
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Just those
I
are
agree.
cool memories and visuals you could
And they
get
released.
sucked in.
They finally put a YouTube channel up with all their videos on it. They didn't have that before either.
Interesting. Because you can't find it on.
My bootleggy shit that looks terrible.
Yeah.
So they did that. Yeah, really good.
Huh.
Before we get into what we thought of the movie, I'm just going to, for people who live under a rock, I'll just give a little rundown of what it is.
Great.
So it's a movie based on the book The Dirt. It came out in 2000. Directed by Jeff, I'm going to have to look to pronounce it right, Jeff Tremaine, who did some Jackass stuff.
Right.
Cast, we got Douglas Booth as Nicky Six. No-namer, some British cat. Don't know much about that guy. Iwan Rheon, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, as Mick Mars. This guy is on Game of Thrones. I don't watch Game of Thrones, do you? So you probably recognize him, yeah? Daniel Webber is Vince Neil. So he's some Australian cat. I guess he's on, there's a Netflix version of The Punisher he's on. So these are basically no-name
Right. Great.
guys, which is the way to go. Tommy Lee is Colson Baker, a.k.a. Machine Gun Kelly. Oh, we'll get to his performance later. So he's somewhat known, but not really.
Not in this world.
Right. Then you got Pete Davidson as Tom Zutaut from Elektra Records. So he's from SNL. Funny fucker. I like him on that show.
Yeah.
And then you got David Costabile as Doc McGee. He's on Breaking Bad and he's on Billions. But I don't watch either one.
I don't watch either one of those.
So it's basically, I mean, that's those are big shows, so people might know who he is.
Right.
But basically, these are lower level cats, which is the way to go for sure.
Right.
Right. It's not distracting. Okay, I'm not an expert, but I know enough about how movies are made to know it's hard to make a good one. There's tons of shitty movies. It's a team
Just
thing.
go through Netflix and just, no. Really?
Exactly. It
yeah.
takes one weak link in that chain and it's fucked. It's hard.
Yeah.
And a biopic is even harder. I mean, especially when it's the topic, let's say Motley Crue is a band we've all seen live, interviews, TV for 35 fucking years. So you're carrying that with you. So it's easy to get hung up on, oh, that guy didn't look exactly like that guy. And he didn't do exactly that. It's easy to go down that road.
Are you defending or
I'm
you,
just saying.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying, I'm keeping an open mind going into this. I'm not going to get super fucking critical.
All right. Okay.
Because if you're coming from
Yeah.
a fiction point of view, you can do whatever you want and nobody's going to nitpick that shit.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Got it.
The other point I want to make is this is a movie, not a fucking documentary.
Right.
So they're going to take little licenses. But from what I gather, from what I heard from especially Nicky Six, it's, let's say 80% is true and in the book. I mean, you're condensing fucking 35 years into 2 hours. You can't show everything and you can't be strict with the timeline necessarily. Like Bohemian Rhapsody, they did the same thing. Like Freddie did not know he had AIDS at Live Aid, like they said. That's not true, for example. But they have to make they have to create the drama and blah, blah, blah.
And you got to understand this film is coming after that biopic that was
massive
on a massive level that I could see why going into watching this film, which is what we've done, is to try to keep that out of your head for a minute,
Right. Right for the first 5 minutes, you know why a major studio was not the way to go here. Because it would have turned out like Bohemian Rhapsody where they show cocaine, but they don't show people doing cocaine. It would have been sanitized as fuck.
Right.
This is not that.
No.
I'll describe that opening scene as best I can. Okay, are you ready?
You want to give this away?
Oh,
yes,
fuck.
let's
It's on
give it
Netflix
away.
now. I don't
Okay,
care.
yeah, right on.
House party. At the Motley Crue apartment behind the whiskey, gong show, Tommy Lee goes down on a chick on a chair and she squirts across the room. Fade to black.
Right.
This is what happens. And you're like, okay, this is how this is going to go. Right. And of course, you laugh because it's just so insane. And you're like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind
Maybe
that
not
happened.
the length of how far that thing squirted, But
Had a hell of an arc.
totally did. But for effect, it certainly caught your attention.
You can see why Paramount passed, which is good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see a sanitized fucking Motley Crue movie at all. And that is not what this is.
Totally. It's so over the top in a lot of ways.
Well, they were.
But they were. And that's what
Yeah.
you have to keep in the back of your mind
Yes.
all the time here.
Also, that it's the 80s. You have to keep that in your mind all the time, too.
Right. And you also have to understand that it's Nikki Sixx and Motley Crue really controlling this film.
They're all producers, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is their representation. Honestly,
Yes.
whether you have to take that into consideration when you watch
Yeah,
this.
they're not holding back
Yeah.
at all.
No.
In fact, the real life was way worse than anything in this movie. I guarantee it.
I would say.
Oh, yeah.
They brought it to a level that you were hoping that they'd get it to, and they did right
Yes,
out of the gate.
yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
I would say overall, I was pleasantly surprised. Like I was going in with pretty low expectations,
Me too.
right?
Me too.
I'm like,
Probably
if
because I saw the trailer
Yeah.
and the song, and I'm going,
I'm thinking,
I don't know.
if this doesn't suck, I'll be happy, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't. I was surprised at how much fun it was and how much I did enjoy it. I was surprised.
I wasn't prepared to be blown away, and I wasn't.
Right. Right.
But I did enjoy most of it. There was just parts of it that really took me out. Pete Davidson was the biggest.
Really?
For me, this biopic with a bunch of unknowns, really, and you have this comedic actor with his inclusion in such a popular figure
Right.
in this film, he stuck out like a sore thumb for me. And every
You think
time,
everybody knows who Pete Davidson is? I don't.
yeah, I think most people do, especially now with the young, because he's dating.
Okay.
You know, like there's a whole new level here.
The kids might because he was dating some pop star.
Anybody will know him now.
But he's not an A-list SNL guy. He is not.
I'm not saying he's an A-list SNL guy. He's just a popular figure that didn't need to that role in the film. And every time I went to it, I thought, okay, this is campy.
Right.
It took me out of the biopic kind of moment and almost
Right.
became a comedy.
Well, it had comedic moments in it for sure, and I think you needed that. for
It
me.
did, but I wanted a rougher thing. And I was hoping for a
Right.
bit more. I just, that took me out, man, like right away. It took it away from trying to get into the life of them
Okay.
to now. Oh, but there's a guy I know, from last Saturday Night Live that, I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah. It didn't bother me.
Didn't they?
No.
Interesting.
He wasn't in it that much to have.
Enough for me.
I thought the performances were good. Like the Vince Neil guy, I'll call them by their Motley names because
Mhm.
they're not second nature to me. But the guy who played Vince Neil, he had the most heavy lifting. Like in a drama perspective, like with the car crash and his daughter dying, I thought he did a good job. Like he had the drama to deal with, man.
Yeah,
More than anybody else.
Of all of them, he was a tough one to put into that role because
Yes.
of how visually you perceive Vince.
Right.
And to get that connection, it was, and I know you alluded to this at the start of our discussion here, that you got to keep that out of your mind, but
Yeah.
it was tough to see past that a little bit.
That he didn't look enough like him, you mean?
That it didn't feel like that was Vince Neil.
Right.
How you interpret that is your own thing.
Right.
But as you're watching it, you're going,
It's
I don't-
hard.
it's hard, right?
Yeah.
But you're right.
I would say you're right.
He did have the heavier lifting.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another point of this film where the tragedy in Vince's life and how
Yeah.
that plays into the film was tough. And
Yeah.
questioning why he must have wanted that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He wanted that, but how they
if that wasn't in there, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" That's got to go in.
yeah. And that kind of scene for him, it was tough. It was a tough role, like you said.
Yeah, but you're right. As far as mimicking Vince Neil, it's easier to perhaps like Machine Gun Kelly did a great job as Tommy Lee, but I think there's more to work with there somehow. Like he's got a distinct walk and he's kind of fun-loving, goofy guy.
Right.
I think that's easier to get a handle on somehow.
Yeah, and accept,
Man,
if he's close.
that was entertaining to watch him.
He was by far the most captivating. Well,
Yeah.
and him and
Well,
Mick.
The Mick Mars
I really
character,
did
yeah.
like Mick.
The one-liners, like he was good.
His whole attitude.
Yeah.
And they all really did capture the attitude of the individual. I think they captured that pretty well.
For me, because as you can see by my T-shirt, I'm a Nikki Sixx guy.
Yeah.
I wanted that guy to be a little gnarlier. Like he didn't have the intensity Nikki Sixx had, I don't think. Just there was something about the intensity of that performance just wasn't quite there for me.
Yeah, and
Are you with me on that?
Yeah, well, here's where
Nikki
it kind
Sixx
of
is
derailed for me for
intense.
Nikki was his voice and using it as a narrative.
Oh, I like the narration.
I did, but I wish it was the guys.
Oh, that wouldn't have worked.
I think it would have been cool.
Then you go to their voice in the movie?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, no, I disagree.
I don't. I think I'd rather heard that because his voice bugged me. His tone was, it was like a trying.
You talk
hard.
about taking you out of the movie. If you would have heard real Nikki Sixx, you'd be fucking,
I
you
don't
can't
know.
do that.
I don't know.
So Pete Davidson takes you out of the movie, but you want to hear Nikki Sixx, his voice? Come
I thought
on.
about it. I haven't really been sitting here for 6 hours going, I wonder if that would work. But what I am
Let's try
saying,
that.
what I am saying is that as I'm watching it, there's something I didn't like about his delivery of the narrative that said, wonder if it'd be cool if Nikki Sixx did the narrative
Right.
of himself when the narration needed to be there, but then
That's
cut
an
to the
interesting
guys.
thought. I don't know.
Because he didn't captivate the attitude of Nikki Sixx like you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I didn't think he
and
did.
it started with me with when he's telling his story. It was just the way it was presented. I just didn't
Right.
believe it.
You're just not buying it.
Obviously we got pictures to follow it up, which helps, but
Yeah.
something was bugging me about it, period.
Yeah. Out of all three, I thought.
And I'm not surprised
Yeah.
that you said his performance didn't, because his.
I mean, it was still good, but not quite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Nikki Sixx is an intense fucking dude,
Yeah.
and he didn't quite get there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought being an editor like I am, I thought the pacing was good. Like the pacing was fucking. Once it started, it was boom, 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 and that's what their career was like. Like they were successful fucking quick, and I thought, that lifestyle, the on the road, the cocaine, the go, go, go. I thought the pacing of the movie, I enjoyed it, man. It was like, it doesn't. There's no fucking lull.
It went by quick,
Oh yeah, I'll say that.
which was good and kind of what I would want.
If you're looking at your watch, this is not good.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with you. And
Yeah.
I really did like some of the little vignettes, like the day in the life of Tommy Lee.
That was really cool.
Right?
eh?
I thought that was
Up at 5.
that worked.
Handcuffed to the fucking bed. And I'm thinking immediately, well, that chick handcuffed him there.
Yeah.
No.
They don't-
It wraps around. Doc McGee handcuffs him there.
Yeah. It was a great
It
little
was cool.
moment,
I agree.
but he was a standout at the whole film.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And so I did enjoy that. There was parts of this film that I really did enjoy. There was parts that bugged me.
It's not perfect.
And I wasn't expecting it to
No.
be perfect. So was I
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised, but I did enjoy it. And I think for what it was,
Yes.
right?
It was fun. It's going to come under, I mean, we both like the movie Rockstar. So it'd be a bit weird to like that and not like this, because this is what I wanted Rockstar to be in a way.
See, I compared it to almost like Detroit Rock City and the way I felt about it.
Sure, because it'll end up being a guilty pleasure. It's so
Yeah.
bad it's good,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah. And
'Cause
that's not
I-
to say they didn't try, but I just
Right.
felt like the dirt that I would have wanted to seen would have been dirtier.
Dirtier even.
Dirtier in the sense of how there was too much comedy in this for me. There was just a
Right.
bit, there was just a bit too much comedy. I would have been enough,
but they're having fun, keep in mind.
enough comedy was pleasantly provided by Tommy Lee most of the time.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what it was in that band.
He is animated.
So it's good.
I hear what you're saying. That didn't bother me much. If there was a void there for me, and again, you just can't. I mean, the life these guys had was just so incredible. It depends how you define incredible. You can't fit it all in, but there was so little to do with music in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like what inspired these songs, there was nothing going on there.
No.
The music,
But
was,
this
the
was
music
a-
was just there.
This was the dirt, and it was based on this.
I
yeah,
get it,
yeah.
but you know what I mean? That was a little bit of a void.
That TV throwing out the hotel, that was in Edmonton.
I think they did it more than once.
I heard that
That was not an isolated incident.
I heard that they were busted at the airport, and
That's right.
they were wearing their gear, and this was
Good one. I forgot about that.
I think Vince Neil had some porn magazines in his carry-on.
Right. They confiscated a bunch of their
their
wristbands
wardrobe
and
because
shit,
they came in
Spikes
fully
and shit.
dressed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then they confiscated his porn mags, and they were held at the airport for a bit.
Right.
And they had to do some I don't know. It was
Well,
all
it's funny
crazy.
you mentioned that because I thought of that too. Not those details, but their first somewhat major tour was Canada. No mention. The other thing they didn't mention at all, and I realize the scope of it is fucking huge, but they didn't mention the US Festival, which was huge for them. Shout the Devil wasn't even out yet, but they had that gear on, playing those songs in front of 300,000 people.
Right.
No mention, but then you're going to shoot that? I mean, that's a whole other
Right.
can of worms.
That's one other thing about this film
Yeah.
is that it really did seem like the budget was controlled
A little bit.
to
I would
some
say
point.
you're right.
Like when they did the live, their first show, and there's like 12 people in the audience, and the casting looks like they were just taken off of Degrassi Junior High. You know, it just didn't.
Right,
It just
okay.
didn't correlate
Sure.
for me.
Yeah.
These are things that are happening as I'm watching, going, "Fuck." You know, there's no way that's what it looked like. And
Right.
that whole scene, I mean, there's moments like that.
And you
just
wonder
didn't-
because these guys are all multimillionaires. They couldn't throw a little in.
Right.
Like,
if they're over the top with roller coasters and spinning drum risers and
Right.
everything excessive, this film should have been just a touch more excessive for me too.
I agree. I mean, overall, it looked good, but
Yeah.
it could have just went up a tick. I know you can't quite put your finger on it.
Yeah,
it
but there's moments in the film that you do right away.
That's
and it
right.
seemed like it just, again, took me out of my experience.
Right.
And maybe I'm analytical. I mean, I work in the industry like you, and
Sure.
it's like, it's hard to watch a film
That's right.
like somebody that is not in the industry. So it's really
The
difficult. to
lighting
turn
was
it off.
definitely in your face. Holy shit. I
Yeah.
was surprised they went to the detail of shooting the Looks at Kill video. They were cutting back and forth to that. I'm like, holy
Right.
shit, they went hard there.
They must have had the stuff too, like
They
somehow.
did.
Yeah.
Some of the outfits, like Nicky's shoulder thing, I guess was from his actual collection. And yeah, there's a lot of nods to that. I thought the concert footage looked pretty good for the most part. Okay, inaccuracies. Vince Neil wasn't driving a red Corvette. I'm pretty sure that I think it was yellow, but a Pantera.
Yeah.
So maybe again, that's budget. You can't find a Pantera. I don't know. Doc McGee never actually met Nikki Sixx's mom. That was all bullshit too.
Right.
The mom thing did happen, but Doc McGee did not get fired because of that. He got fired for something else. But these are things.
I didn't need to see that in the film at all. That
It felt a bit forced.
it was
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just again, there's moments, and that's the problem with it. It was just there was a few too many of those moments that drove me nuts.
I thought of another inaccuracy, and this is a biggie. Kind of like the Queen one, just to keep everything dramatic, is when Vince Neil's daughter died, he wasn't even in the band. He was gone at that point.
Right.
But they got to get it in there because it's a major thing that happened to somebody in that band, so they wedge it in there.
Right.
That girl did a really. I'm always fascinated.
Me too.
Yes, kids.
Me too.
Kids pretend, and
Yeah.
they're not self-conscious like adults. I get it, but to get a kid to act like that on camera, okay, action is incredible, and she was really good.
She was great.
She just broke my heart, man.
That's
I'm
the
like,
whole.
why am I crying during a Motley Crue movie?
That's why I think it was heavyweight for him as an actor to
Yes,
deal with that
did a good
because
job.
she did such a good job, and I mean
heavy, man.
that's not an easy role
Yeah.
for anybody, right?
And also, I remember thinking, man, imagine you go through something like Vince Neil did with that car accident, manslaughter, and your friends don't even call you. Like, what? I don't care what's going on.
I thought,
Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, I thought I felt that a bit when they showed that scene when Vince came back to the band, and
what is
it
going on?
was a bit dark.
And he's trying to get his shit together,
Yeah,
and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're so wrapped up, especially Nikki, in their own fucking worlds. They can't even process that you would care about somebody else. I found myself torn between isn't this cool? Right? Being in a rock band that, suspended adolescence, all that kind of stuff, and throw TVs out the window and fucking whatever. Because, yeah, there's a part of me that thinks, yeah, that's what rock and roll is, and isn't that great? But then there's the other part of it. It's not so great. It's fucking sad. You're fucking, hurting people, fucking killing people. I mean, that's an accident. But I mean, there's a wake of shit behind you too, right?
Right.
And this behavior.
No responsibility. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you kind of, you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's like,
Yeah,
I like to glorify this behavior, but at the same time, it's not cool in a lot of ways too, right? So there's that. Because they're trying to de-glamorize that lifestyle a little bit in this movie. It's not all, hey, aren't we cool? They show a downside to all this stuff. That's the juxtaposition they're trying to pull off. I don't know if they quite got there, but...
Yeah, I felt...
Did you feel that or what?
I felt that because of where we are now in regards to what we know went on and we've gotten better and
Yes.
this craziness...
Well, some of us.
Some of us. But it's not part of the culture anymore. It's definitely... It was everywhere and rampant.
That was the time, and everybody's complicit. Men, women,
Totally.
they all want to be there. I
Sure.
want to point that out.
Sure. It's what happens.
Yeah. It's what
It's
happens.
not, it's what happened.
Yes.
Now we're in a different time. I don't think that I see this film as promoting this as, yes, you want to go out and do this next weekend.
It's a cautionary tale, I would say.
It's a cautionary, but I guess maybe that's back to the darker side of what I would like to see with this film was,
Right.
I thought it could have gone a bit more that way.
Yeah,
and
I
less
hear
like
ya.
we're going to have fun with this. We don't really want to talk about it having fun. We want in that sense,
That's tough, though, because they would say it was fun.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
But now making a film in this time, in this era, I think that it could have had a bit more shift in that
Well,
direction.
it's funny you say that because I thought, too, so the book comes out in 2000. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It would have been almost cool, maybe is the wrong word, but it would have been interesting if that movie came out shortly after the book instead of now. It might not have felt so, what the fuck? This is so not what's going on now.
I'm glad. Actually, funny you said that about how long ago that book was written because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Was that with that many years, 18 years between it?
Yeah, because if you showed a fucking millennial this movie, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on, right? Like their head would explode.
Oh, I don't think so.
Really?
Because I think millennials, they do this on GTA and their video
No, but
gaming.
They're fucking offended by everything.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
This fucking outrage culture. They'd be like,
oh, I see.
what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck? They couldn't hashtag enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is no cell phones. This is a different world they're living in.
Yeah.
And everybody was living in it. It's not like this movie could have been about Rat. It could have been about GNR.
For sure.
Could have been about Metallica. It would look pretty much the fucking same. Death, drugs, sex, all that shit. All those bands were doing it. Motley just did it maybe on just a tick higher.
I think they did
Right?
a tick higher.
But I mean, those bands I just rattled off, there's ODs,
Yeah.
there's Slash is dead in the hallway.
Yeah.
There's deaths.
Yeah, and I really, with Motley Crue, seemed to be only the two that I would probably say I heard more about. And that was,
Nikki and Tommy were a horrible pair.
that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Here's a story I love.
So this is, you can't even
Do you remember-
explain it.
Do you remember this story from The Dirt where they tried who could go the longest without showering? You remember this?
I remember reading it, yeah.
Without showering and still get BJs. Okay?
Wow.
Like these guys are animals. But see,
Right.
it makes me laugh.
Right.
See, again, is that I wrote this down. I flipped from thinking of the band as fun and likable, which I think they are, and rooting for them. Like when bad shit happens, I hope they figure it out. And
Right.
you're rooting for them.
Right.
Come on. To thinking they're unbelievably obnoxious assholes. These aren't nice people for the most part, for various reasons.
Yeah.
You're on drugs or whatever. But oh man, they don't give a fuck about anybody
Right.
but themselves. It's just it's not dull. That's all. They're
Yeah.
interesting characters, every one of them.
I do want to say this is another character in the film that I thought was quite good was the guy playing Mick Mars.
Yeah, he was. Well, Mick Mars himself is an interesting guy because he's not like the other three. He just watches.
Right.
Well, as he drinks bottles of vodka.
Right.
But he's not, jumping
He
around
wants
throwing
nothing to do with
shit.
it.
Yeah.
Another thing in the film that really set me off a touch was how they portrayed these kids, the kids and the old man.
The old man,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
How much older is he?
And he's only 7 years older, like, or
he's
8, maybe 8.
But
I
still.
think it was, Tommy Lee was 19 when they hooked up.
Fuck, just a kid, yeah.
And I think he was 26 or 27.
Oh, God, he's ancient. Like,
Yes. And they portray him as an old man, and it's like, no.
I think that's more his personality than his age, right?
Sure, but
Yeah.
it was weird.
The old man.
It's weird how they did that and
Yeah.
how he was okay with that. You know, I mean, because they're all involved as producers.
That's right.
He wasn't that much older. Come
I
on.
love how blunt he is about everything.
And great. It was really, that was the comedy I loved.
I like they wanted to call the band Xmas.
Christmas.
He's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right. Oh, I do like that story. Or there's a story about how they got the dots over the U because they drank a lot of Lowenbrau.
That's right.
apparently. Is that the deal?
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was funny touch.
Yeah.
The way they did it in the film, I don't know if it was completely accurate. I don't think it
Oh,
was.
you can't. It's condensed, obviously.
Yeah.
They're not picking the name and look that quick.
No, but I think who and what was
Sure.
did what. I
Oh,
think
Mick did think of it. Yeah.
Motley Crue.
Yeah, that's true.
But the dots were. You think it's more evil than that. You
right.
You know, you got Shout at the Devil and Motley Crue and
Well, Motorhead did it first.
right.
This is not new.
No, I
Yeah.
I didn't even correlate that to this.
Yeah. What did you think of how they handled Nicky's heroin and the ODing and stuff? Did you buy that or?
I thought they shot it in a way that was invasive, which I think it needed to be, and
It made you cringe.
it did.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
He's in his fucking closet.
I think they caught that. I like how they transitioned into it, how they wrote that little bit. I wonder if Nicky wrote it, was where you thought he was talking about this chick because you see her ass and you're kind of.
Oh,
you're
I knew what he
thinking-
was going to say.
Right?
Yeah.
But you kind of knew it, but I thought the way they
Yes.
did it was kind of, yeah.
And what an ass. Hashtag me too.
Yes.
Oh, I
Randy,
know.
we're going to have to put a disclaimer on this one.
I know what I forgot to mention that I thought was cool was the breaking the fourth wall. Like when they would look at the camera and go, actually, this didn't really happen this way, but fuck it, we're doing it that way.
It's cool, but it also brings back that comedic element that there was a lot of it in it, you know, this film, but I did like it.
I think you needed it because fuck, it's so out of control and heavy.
Right.
And I think, again, that a lot of what they were doing was comedic. Like they're fucking having fun. Oh, things popping into my head.
Right,
I don't know if it was Ross Halfin, rock photographer, or it was Bob Rock. I can't remember. But one of those guys was getting interviewed and he goes, when they walk into a party, you can smell the chaos. That's what he said. And I just thought, man, that nails it. He goes, you do not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Somebody going to die tonight? And
Yeah.
he wasn't joking around.
Yeah.
They had so little regard for themselves, let alone the people around them. He goes, the tension, like it was palpable, the fucking level of chaos that could ensue.
The pool scene in the film.
Oh, you want to go there? Sure. Okay. Now, that guy looked nothing like Ozzy Osbourne.
No.
But he captured the vibe, I thought.
The vibe was there. The vibe was there. And honestly, I have way more leniency for that kind of role, you know, it's just there for,
And to think that happened.
I know. This is.
Snorting ants and licking up not only your piss, but your buddy's
But
piss.
here's at a time when they have the name We Welcome Ozzy Osbourne and Motley Crue to the
Yeah.
Travel Lodge.
Now, what kills me?
Those days do not exist. I don't even think they existed back then. I really can't imagine
Like
they would
they're
do that.
out at that pool with the general public. This is fascinating. Like you imagine you're there and this is going on. Like what the hell? Yeah.
It's like you think about smoking in a building, right?
Right.
This is the way it used to be. I can't even imagine this.
Well, that was early on. See?
Well, this is crazy.
So they opened for Ozzy for that whole tour.
Right.
And right after that, Sharon's like, fuck, you guys are all going to rehab now.
Right.
And they all went.
They were not good role models for Ozzy to have
Oh,
on the tour.
I think it was the other way around.
Oh, yeah,
They were
right.
trying to outdo each other is what they were
Right,
doing.
right.
And it was unreal, I guess.
Right, right.
I'll show you fuckers, you young bucks, how it's done. Oh, man. See, again, I think it's funny. That's my first reaction. But then when you stop and think about it, you're like, okay, what if you had your wife and kids are on the pool and
Yeah.
Ozzy comes out in a dress and he's taking a piss right on the pool deck.
And they're, yeah, never mind.
Excuse
I'm not
me.
even going to say. Not even going to say. Yeah, it's difficult to imagine now.
I mean, if you're an Ozzy fan, this is great. But if you're not, this is not great. You're calling security.
See, this should have been a historical. This should have been a historical mockumentary biography.
I also like the way, because this was true, and I've read it a million times, is David Lee Roth showed up to, when they were nothing, sat on their couch and did drugs with them in their fucking apartment. Like, how cool is that? Fucking Diamond Dave's on your couch.
I thought it was funny how they did that little section.
the
It was just
Yeah.
the right amount of Dave.
It was perfect, exactly.
So they did get some good things right?
The detail, yeah, it was mostly there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you recommend it? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
And I think, I mean, you go online and man, critics are not digging it. You know, the New York Times is not going to give this a good review.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx doesn't give a fuck about that. The fans are loving it. Like, if you're not into Motley Crue or that world, like, at all, you're not really going to like it, probably.
I don't expect a lot of people to like it.
Right. But I thought it was entertaining as hell.
Right.
Yeah.
What was
So
that?
I wrote this down too. This movie will not win any awards, but I had a blast watching it.
Look at you.
Guaranteed I'll
Movie
watch.
reviewer.
Guaranteed I'll watch it again. That was my last.
You're going to watch it again?
Oh, I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'll really nitpick.
Yeah.
Their outfit isn't the right shade of black. You know, I'll get into that.
That'll be our first beer, rum, and rock and roll review.
Yes, part deux.
Pardon.
It's, yeah. Again, overall, it's fun. Don't listen to the critics. If you like rock music, you'll get something out of it.
That's a good point.
You can
That's a good
nitpick it
point.
all fucking day long.
You're gonna get a lot of comments about how this is not worth your time, but
Yeah, it's not for you then, you know? Like, if you're fascinated by that world at all, it's a gateway into there on some
That's
level. Right?
Yeah,
It's
totally.
fun. Thumbs up.
All right, Motley fucking Crue.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Liked it.
they had an impact early.
Oh. Well, a huge impact on me personally, man. I just think I love the band,
Yeah.
warts and all.
Well, like I said, two albums was enough,
Right. Punk boy.
and how they did it, and it was nice to see it all back again now, just for shits and giggles, as it was.
Yeah, for me, they're like Kiss in that, man, I cut them a lot of slack because I like them so much.
Right.
I mean, they did lose me with a couple albums, but man, I tried hard. It's like Kiss when you took off the makeup. Man.
I tried.
Animalize, it's not that bad. Oh, fuck, it is.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I
yeah.
try hard
Yeah.
because I like them.
And I'm sure they appreciate it. but-
Yeah. Okay,
All
cheers,
right.
man.
Yeah.
What's this, Ep 12?
F12. Cheers.
Peace out.